Hey everybody, Dan here with Pain Free You. Today's topic is going to be about this thing in here. And I guess the topic will be the brain's number one job. So I'll get to all that in a minute. I made some notes, so I'm going to talk about a couple of concepts that I find pretty interesting and relevant to understanding exactly what's going on and how symptoms are caused and all that stuff. But before I start, let's relax the body so that we can breathe. Slow down the thinking. Slow down the speaking. Slow down the movements. Have you ever felt like you are always in a rush? Thinking fast, talking fast, moving fast. Got to do this, got to do that. Slow. Slow is safe, right? So, all right. The brain's number one job, survival. Period. End of story. There's no debating it. From the time you were conceived and developing brain cells in your mother's womb, your brain's only job was to run this system and keep you alive. That's it. You know, because in the learning process, understanding this mind-body concept and how the brain can create symptoms. You know, some people begin to become afraid of their own brain. Wow, if my brain can do this, I wonder what it can do. And then, you know, we link the thinking coming from the brain. And so a lot of times we've got these fearful, catastrophic thoughts or depreciating and critical thoughts and self-judgment and criticism and our emotions. We kind of feel like they're coming from the brain. We feel them in the body, but you know, they're generated by the understanding of the brain as to what's going on, and certain things can hurt our feelings and be upsetting and all that. So a lot of people are afraid of their brain. Then they hear that, wow, you mean when the brain perceives danger, it creates symptoms? Wow, now I'm afraid of fear, and I'm afraid of my brain, because if my brain perceives danger or fear or threat, then my brain is going to mess with me and cause all these problems in my body. And that whole thing, people can sometimes become terrified by. The cool thing is, it's your brain. And it's looking out for you. It's doing its best to keep you alive. It's your best friend. You may not feel that way. You might think, well, this mind-body stuff, it's definitely not my best friend. Why would my brain think it's okay to torture me or cause this pain? There's no motive there other than survival. The brain is not trying to be mean. It's not trying to torture you or mess with you or make your life difficult. Your brain operates on the information it has, simply put. And I believe we have an opportunity to give the brain information so that it can make better decisions for us. Better decisions romantically, financially, work-wise, physically, health-wise, threat, danger, I'm okay, no threat, no danger. It's our brain. We control much of the input. Yeah, there are some things outside of our control, but I'm going to encourage you to kind of focus on the things that are within your realm of influence. I like that word better than control, because if we're looking at symptoms and pains created by a brain perceiving threat or danger, that's happening in the subconscious. That is not within our conscious control. So a few things. The brain, the nervous system, and I took a couple of notes. The nervous system is a network of neurons that run the autonomic nervous system. The brain is the conductor, but it is not under conscious control. So the brain is a control center, but we can't really consciously control the brain and thereby the autonomic nervous system. I can't control the nervous system with a thought. I can't say pain or my hand hurt. Or if I'm hurting, I can't say cut it out. Right? Not under conscious control. The brain is operating based on the perception of what's going on interpreting what's going on, and if the brain is perceiving danger, it will turn on pain or other symptoms. Now let's think about this. Brain essentially is modulating signals from the body, right? And if there's fear or threat, it opens the pain gates and we can get more pain. If it interprets danger and calm, or no danger, let me start over. If the brain interprets fear or threat, the gates can open and it can create pain to warn us of this thing that the brain is perceiving as dangerous. If the brain is calm and is not determining or interpreting threat, the gates are closed and there's less pain or no pain. So the fear or safety is the control switch for symptoms or no symptoms, right? So that's a really important concept, because if you are experiencing a high degree of symptoms or pain, the gates are open because the brain is interpreting danger. And so what's the best response to that? To shut this gate? Calm. Safety. I'm good. I got this. Brain, you're overdoing it. There's nothing bad happening. It's a really important key point. This is not within your conscious control. Your brain is not out to get you or mess with you or make your life miserable. It's simply operating on the information it has. And based on that information, if it's perceiving danger consciously or very likely subconsciously, the gates open and pain or other symptoms can ensue. So, some people are saying, well, I don't deal with pain, but I got all these other weird symptoms. So, what's the sequence for these weird symptoms? Simply put, the brain gets scared, and the nervous system, aka the brain controlling it, reacts and can dysregulate some of these systems in the body. For example, heart rate, boop, 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 going really fast. All sorts of things. Oxygen levels in the blood, and do I feel faint, and digestion, and immune system, and all of these things can kind of get knocked sideways when the brain is scared. Solution? Safety. Teach that brain that we're really okay. Just had somebody today, somebody I've known for a long time, say, I came down with COVID a couple of weeks ago, and now I've got all these weird symptoms. Dizziness, lightheaded, brain fog, headaches, a number of things. And he's going, yeah, it sure sounds like long COVID, but it was only 2 weeks ago, and long COVID is traditionally defined as symptoms that are still persisting weeks or months later, because it was only 2 weeks ago. And my interpretation of that is that I don't believe it's a viral effect. Some people will argue with me. And to the people who argue with me and say, but the virus is doing it. The virus is definitely doing it. I'll say, how do you know? How do you know that the virus is creating these wide variety of symptoms that are often termed in the medical world as long COVID? How do you know it's viral? I don't know. But here's what I do know. That whether it be consciously or subconsciously, the brain sensed danger by getting COVID. We can have symptoms of COVID. We can feel awful. We get headaches, fevers, feeling pretty awful. And the brain goes, oh shit. Systems in the body can get knocked a little bit sideways and we can start experiencing symptoms. But then what ends up happening is those symptoms really grab our attention, grab us by the collar and go, hey, pay attention. And then the symptoms create more danger. And then we kind of get into this fear, danger, symptom loop. Best role for you? See what you can do to trust your body. It knows what to do, and minimize the fear as much as possible. You teach the brain that we don't need to fire up all these autonomic nervous system type of sensations, symptoms, pains even. Trust the body. It knows how to handle COVID or any other illness. So I believe that in the case of long COVID, the actual COVID infection, which is real, it's legit, is a scare event, not necessarily that the virus is running rampant in your body. I don't believe that, right? Because I think our body has an amazing, incredible immune system. So here's what I will tell you. If you have a history of symptoms, mind-body symptoms, some health major events in your life, your brain is more easily scared, more easily knocks that nervous system, the autonomic nervous system, offline a little bit, dysregulates some things, and symptoms can come up. And if you've got a history of health anxiety and chronic conditions, more easily you can kind of get knocked sideways and get some more symptoms. Now that doesn't mean you should worry or panic or think, oh no, I'm in trouble. No, it just means that you can understand better why, when you got something like the flu, all of a sudden you got some other symptoms. Understanding this system called the human body, brain, nervous system, autonomic nervous system, immune and digestive system, understanding it is incredibly powerful, because when you understand it and you recognize that the brain's perception of threat, open gates, or safety, closed gates, determines symptoms or pains. And so when you recognize it's that simple, fear, danger, symptoms, safety, calm, no symptoms or less symptoms. When you recognize that that's the mechanism, what do? We focus on safety, calm, reassurance, trust the body, teach the brain we're okay. Doesn't matter if it's a legitimate illness or a perceived danger set of symptoms, a mind-body condition. Either way, there's no downside and only benefit to closing that gate to the symptoms with safety and calm and reassurance and trust. That's it. That's as simple as it gets. Fear, threat, danger, the gates are open, symptoms can happen. Calm, reassurance, safety, the gate can close and the symptoms can abate. Don't overcomplicate this, folks. We can massively overcomplicate this. When you understand the role of the brain, survival, when you recognize that the brain's perception of danger is what turns on symptoms, and the brain's perception of safety is what will turn it off. That's why I always say nobody ever got better by freaking out. Why? Because when you're freaking out, the gates are open. And the more you freak out, the wider they're open. So, as best as you can, move towards being unbothered by the symptoms, indifferent. Learn to freak out less, calmly reassure more. Get confident in that. But again, this video would be missing something if I didn't say, foundationally, what causes symptoms? I just explained it. Does it apply to you? That's where the assessments come in. And some people go, yeah, but, this one item could be real if you had a neurological condition. Okay. What about the other 18 questions? How many of them are you answering true? Those questions were designed by Dr. Schubner and some other medical associates, and they figured out the best way to determine how your symptoms are behaving to determine if it's a mind-body condition, neuroplastic, TMS, perceived danger, all the same thing, really. So those questions are valid. And if your symptoms behaving like a mind-body condition, that's what it is. Your job is to now accept that. Your job is to now close the gate, the symptom gate, if you will. Close the gate with consistent safety, calm, reassurance, trusting the body. There's nothing to fix. That's how it works, folks. Because as long as you are in a panic, those gates are going to be open. It's how it works. So I hope this was useful, educational. I think really a deep understanding of this stuff can help you get to the simple solution, which is close the gates of symptoms with safety consistently. Because if you're going freak out, safety, freak out, safety, You're trying to convince the brain to close the gates of symptoms with safety, but if you're freaking out all the time or going into a panic every time you get a new symptom or a new sensation, those gates are more likely to stay open. So I'm going to wrap it up here. The video is going a little long, but I hope this really makes sense to you. And what I'll encourage you to do is listen back to it so you get a deeper understanding. Take this from a intellectual knowledge and get some wisdom out of it. Know that this is how the system works. And so, I love you folks, and as always, we'll see you tomorrow. Take care.